What is up, dudes? I am XIKIZOID, and today we're continuing Andromeda 6. I am very happy about the way this whole playthrough is going, and I really want to thank you guys for all the support. I really appreciate it. So in last episode, we started episode 5 of Andromeda 6, the 5th episode of the game, the 5th part of the game, and we actually got to choose our fighting style for the rest of the game, which I think is going to be pretty dang important, since we did choose an option that allows us to have a non-lethal choice later down in the road. So I'm definitely very happy that we had to, we chose that. So yeah, let's continue. Last time we also had some training with June and Rayona. Rayona is the medic and June is, as you know, the weapons specialist on the ship. So we had some training and we did pretty well. We were very confident. We were very naturally talented at shooting, using the gun and the blasters and whatnot. So our training ended, and let's see where we go from here. Looking around, I noticed that June must have left while Rayona and I were speaking. With nothing left to do, I decided to head back to my room for a shower and some much needed rest. Okay. After getting clean and grabbing something to eat, I relaxed in my room for a while, pulling out my holopad and searching the planet we'll soon be landing on. Which is Orion, by the way. And Orion, I learned that Orion was the first settlement for humans when they left Earth almost 1,000 years ago. So we're very far into the future. Oh, and speaking of space stuff, me and my boyfriend actually watched the SpaceX and NASA launch of Starlink SN10. It's really interesting, and it actually managed to do a belly flip, or like a belly flop they call it, and it landed back the way that it's supposed to. Even though it blew up a little bit afterwards, it's still a pretty damn big achievement, so I'm super excited about that. We try to follow these kinds of space stuff. So yeah, let's see. The species thrived on a planet which wasn't too different from the home they had left behind, and overpopulation soon threatened to destroy it entirely. That was when the first human city was built on Goldis and the early monarchy established. My ancestors. I take in as much information as I can, blazing through articles on science, agriculture, and politics, until my eyes can't take it any longer. Setting my holopad aside, I push myself up from my bed and stretch out the stiffness from my muscles. There's one thing that's been on my mind, one thing I know I can't continue to push away, that I need to face head on. Vex. Yeah, we need to get rid of him some kind of way, just because he's the one who betrayed us, the one who basically made it possible for the new emperor or the new king to kill our entire family. And I think he had something to do with our sister as well. I think she wanted to overthrow our father, Nerissa. I'm talking about our sister Nerissa. But let's continue for now. Let's continue and see where the story goes. So, with a heavy sigh, I head to the infirmary in search of answers. So we're gonna ask Rayona about Vex, The scent of Rayona's mixture hits me when I enter. I can't quite place what the smell is, but it calms me somehow. And this is a very beautiful scenery, I have to say. The background artists, whoever does the backgrounds, are very beautiful. So, like lavender or soft vanilla. It almost makes me want to head back into my room and curl up under the covers. Kiki, what brings you here? Rayona greets me with a soft smile from where she sits across the room, entering data into her computer. I came to see how everything is going. Oh, and we have Damon here, just peachy as you can see. Damon cuts in from where he lounges on the medical chair in the corner, a folded book held in one hand while he leans his head back against his other arm. He doesn't look up, but I get the feeling that he knows exactly what's going on in the room around him without having to look at all. Yeah, he's very intuitive, his intuition is very sharp. So, a quick glance further into the room gives me a glimpse of Vex, laying on one of the beds behind a set of half-drawn navy curtains. His eyes are closed, his chest moving up and down with his gentle breathing. A pair of round discs are attached to each side of his temple. We're monitoring his brain activity when he sleeps. Rayona explains when she sees me watching him, beckoning me over to her computer. Research is the first step in finding a way to help restore him to, well, himself. See these lines here? She She points to one corner of the screen where a series of wavy lines are wiggling in a box. It tells us when he's asleep the procedure he went through has little to no effect. All of his dreams are his own. Can we see them though? His nightmares too. Damon snorts and Rayona throws him a tired look. If we want your opinion, we'll ask for it, thank you very much. Oh, she's very sassy today. That's not what you said before Kiki showed up, Doc. You were happy to spout all your medical mumbo-jumbo to me then. That was before you started dropping poisonous flowers into Vex's water jug when I wasn't looking. Oh my lord. Damon laughs out loud, though Rayona seems less than impressed. It's not funny. She let out a long, labored breath and wipes the back of a hand across her forehead. I could swear I see the corner of her mouth quirk upwards. It is a little bit funny, I gotta say. Do you always have to be so infuriating? He gives her a lazy grin, his mouth opening before her eyes narrow on him further. Okay, fine, I'm shutting up. Well, I'm not. So, he holds a hand in front of him in defense and sits back in his chair. Banished to the corner for a reason, I remember. Rayona turns her smile on me, though I can clearly see Damon smirking in the background. Their friendship is so weird. So, Zovak did mess with Vex's mind then. It is what we suspected. The very tissue of his brain has been tampered with. Ooh, that sounds very bad. Almost like the wires have been pulled out and shoved back into the wrong sockets, rendering his former thoughts and feelings obsolete. We ask, can you help him? She hesitates, sighing when she glances at Vex's sleeping form. There's still a lot I don't understand, and I don't have the technology on the ship to figure it all out. Where would we find the technology we need? Is it Orion? She grimaces, and I don't miss the look she exchanges with Damon. Only Tillaren would have what we need to really get into his head, but it's more than that. I'm afraid that this is above my skill level. So what does this mean? We do nothing? I'm trying to stabilize him, but it's only a temporary fix. If we want to remove the corruption from his mind permanently, then we'll need help. And I'm guessing we're going to go and get that help. Come on, Doc, you know you're doing a bang-up job. Damon sits up in his chair and places his book down beside him, giving her a fond look. If you can't figure it out, it's only because Zovak and his mad doctor made it so. Rayona gives him a grateful smile and rings her long fingers together. Damon focuses his attention on me. We've been in contact with Alyssa, and boy did she find something. What was it? Another of the doctor's victims. She spoke with the family, who said the subject hadn't been the same after they found her. Oh my god. Dude, if that is Nerissa, I am going to be so angry. Blank, empty, the perfect puppet waiting for someone to pull her strings. But there was more. I wait for him to continue, swallowing around the lump in my throat. The family of the victim seemed to believe that the procedure wasn't complete, that there was another step. They were only rumors. Rayona steps in, her brow furrowed in thought. My skin crawls at the chill Damon's words have left in the air. On Cursa, rumors hold their weight. What more could they do? Infuse them with Orionite, turn puppets into super soldiers. We don't know how they do it exactly, but we know we have a code full of explosives ready to put a stop to it. And will blowing up the mines be enough to stop it? He shrugs unhelpfully, releasing a tired breath of air. Well, would you know anything about it? Rayona and Damon exchange another one of those looks, a silent conversation. He might, but we wouldn't dare ask. Yeah, I wouldn't. June is fragile. When it comes to Orion, the labs, and the Orionite especially, one has to tread carefully. Besides, there's only one Orionite mine in the system. Below that sky high, it's bye-bye evil green rocks. He gives a dramatic flourish with one hand before he smirks. Cue Zovak crying into his golden bedsheets. Oh my god. I frown, my eyes drawn out to Vex and his peaceful sleeping form. Did Alyssa find out if there's a way to reverse the procedure? No, no one knows how. No one on Cursa knows how, Rayona says. She raises her eyebrows at him as if to say, don't give up hope yet. But I don't understand. If Vex was already working with Zovak, why put him through such a procedure? Why does Zovak do anything he does? For control. Signs do suggest that the procedure Vex endured wasn't entirely successful, even in his state. If it was, we wouldn't be seeing the glimpses of Vex's true self that we have been. I wouldn't particularly say that's a good thing. Damon mumbles into the silence, blowing out a long breath before he drops in the chair and closes his eyes, a weird expression on his face. I step closer to the curtain that separates Vex's bed from the rest of the room and peer through it. He looks so peaceful when he sleeps. He almost looked like the same man I knew from the palace, the one who could set my heart racing with only a look. Oh, I got a little bit like shivers when I read that. That's so cute. So it hurts now seeing what he's become, knowing what he's done to me and my family. I wonder what business he has on Orion. He seems to be genuine in agreeing to help us get on the planet safely, and I suppose him hitching a ride with us is the favor we're doing him in turn. And still the question remains, does he even want to be helped? Probably not. Have you spoken with him much about what happened to him? I've tried, but he hasn't been very forthcoming. The easiest way for me to study him is when he's unconscious, but I'm afraid he doesn't give me an accurate reading of what's going on in his brain when he is awake. I'll be doing some work on him in the morning that might help him stay more lucid, if only for a while. We will need him to be cooperative as we get closer to Orion. What does all of this mean? I don't know yet, but Kiki, it's possible that when he betrayed you, he didn't do it willingly. That hits me like a punch to the gut. The hairs on the back of my neck stand on end, a wave of nausea rolling over me. Nausea. I've been trying to bring myself to terms with that Vex betrayed me in the worst possible way, and now? Sensing my distress, Rayona puts a comforting hand on my shoulder. We'll find a way to help him, I promise. Oh, and there he is. Oh good, I missed the pity party. All three of our heads snap towards the bed where Vex lays, rubbing it at his eyes and yawning. He sits up in bed, his eyebrows dipping in the middle when he looks at us. Vex, how are you feeling? Like I would still be asleep if the lot of you hadn't woken me up. Isn't he charming? A real gentleman. Shut your trap, you're the loudest of them all. Vex groans as he pushes himself and swings his legs over the edge, sitting on the side of the bed. He gives Rayona a softer look than what he had just given Damon. Any progress? There may be a little. Will you hold still for a few minutes while I check for some of the data? He nods and Rayona sits back in front of her computer, tapping away on the keyboard in front of her. Okay. We can head back to our room or stay and talk to Vex. And I think we're gonna head back to our room just because Vex is not somebody that we currently can speak to because he's not very stable. And I don't believe that we will gain anything from that conversation. So I'm gonna head back to my room. I'll leave you to it. I should get some rest before tomorrow. See ya then. Vex nods as I say my goodbyes and head back to my room, ready to finally get some sleep before we arrive on Orion. Also, I'm very excited to learn what's gonna happen in Orion. So, I step onto the bridge the next morning, my muscles sore and aching from the quick training session I managed to squeeze in after breakfast. Training had gone much the same as yesterday, but it gave me some more time to get used to the guns I would be using on Orion, and June seemed pleased with my progress. The weight of the blaster currently strapped to the holster around my thigh feels strange, but I'm comforted to know I have a way to protect myself, and yes, that is very important. My knife sits in a holster on my belt, ready to be used in case of an emergency as well. So we do have a knife and a blaster, and come to think of it, we've gotten like a very long way than we were in the beginning. We've gotten like very far. We really have actually made our place. We have secured our place on Andromeda 6 and like the whole ship. And inside of the crew, we are like very well integrated, I would say. So, the crew are all waiting when I arrive, even Vex, who stands securely between Damon and Rayona. Rayona had mentioned she would be doing some work on Vex this morning, and I wonder if it went well. When I look at him, he seemed to be doing okay. I can only hope that that's the case. Calderon is here, and he says, now that everyone is here, we've got a few things to go over before we land. Cal folds his arms over his chest as he looks us all over. I don't miss the look of distaste he gives Vex, but seeing how we need him to help us get onto the planet safely, there's not much we can do about his presence. Damon starts off with the plan. Damon steps forward, and there's no trace of amusement, no sarcasm, no anything but steely determination as he stares us down. I have more of an idea now why Calderon trusted him with the rank of second in command. Yeah, he can be really professional. So Damon says, we've been in contact with Alyssa and Zane and have finalized a plan for how to use the explosives more effectively. There are 2 locations we need to hit, the Prime facility and the mine itself. We'll be splitting into 2 groups. Cal, Rayona, and I will take the mines. It will be more effective with only the 3 of us. The rest of you will wait until we've triggered an evacuation, which will hit both the locations at once, and June will lead you into the facility where you will place the explosives. Damon looks at June, who gives a swift nod in confirmation. Though he's doing what he can to help, the looks on his face tell me that he's less than pleased with the idea. We'll need to detonate the explosives at both locations at the same time to avoid any unwanted attention in one particular place when we're making our escape. Cal and Aya will be on comms, the rest of you are there to watch each other's backs. Are we clear on that? A collective murmur goes through the crew, though Damon's sharp eyes linger on Vex, moving only when the other man gives a nod. We'll be going in during daylight. I'm sorry about that. When the prisoners held at the facility will be working in the mines. This way, evacuation will be smoother, meaning the prisoners don't get hurt in the process. After setting the timer on the bombs, get out of the building as fast as you can and meet back at the ship. There ain't enough of us to take on an entire Khmer unit, so avoid the fight unless you have no other choice. According to Alyssa, she's made some new friends inside of the system who will swoop in after we give them the signal. Once the Khmer are vulnerable, they will finish the rest of the bastards off and pick up the prisoners. So, he shoves his hands in the pockets of his coat, his familiar feline grin finally making an appearance. Any questions? Yeah, what happens if you go south? You die. What? Relax, I'm only kidding. Most of us have done shit like this 1,000 times already. Well, most me, but still. It's also why I'm putting you all on the facility team instead of the mines. It's considerably safer and easier to navigate, especially during the day. The place will be pretty much deserted when you break in, and you'll be with someone who knows firsthand the layout of the place. Stick together, and you'll be fine. Okay. He steps back again, and Calderon takes his spot at the head of the group. Both Vex and June have given us a detailed idea of what we might meet on the planet. We know that Zovak has his soldiers posted at both locations, but there's the chance we might run into something worse. Is there a monster? Oh my god, tell me there's a monster, please. He nods at Vex, who steps forward next. I'll give you the short of it since we don't have time to spare. Zovak is fusing the Orionite with soldiers from the guard, the ones who refuse to bend the knee to him. He's making a new breed of super soldiers. Last I heard, it wasn't going well as he planned. The soldiers couldn't handle the Orionite. They were mutating in the worst kind of way, and more often than not ended up dead. Only if you could survive it, and you better pray to whichever god tickles your fancy that we don't run into any of them today. My eyes instinctively go to June, watching the muscles clench in his tightened jaw. I feel sick just imagining what he has to put himself through today in order for us to pull this off. And knowing what Zovak is doing to the guard, people that Calderon and Ayame likely used to know, makes all of it so much worse. There's also... he's reprogrammed every VTB, what is that, he could get his hands on, forcing them to fight for him. My heart drops in my chest, and Calderon must have misread the look on my face because he turns to me and explains the term. Vantage tactical bots. Okay, I swallow around the lump in my throat and nod solemnly. Yeah, I know what a VTB is. Nerissa's guard, her best friend, he was a reprogrammed VTB. A pang of sorrow hits me when I think of Kai L3. I don't know what became of him after Zovak's attack, but with Nerissa gone, I've no doubt that he went down trying to protect her. Yet another person needlessly lost. But if Kay is among the VTB's forces to fight for Zovak, I can't bear to think of it. I cannot stop myself from glancing at Vex. He was friends with both of them, my sister and Kay. Or at least I thought he was. The look he gives me in return is indecipherable. If you run into either of them, the Orionite soldiers or the VTBs, my best advice is to run. There is no hope of taking them out with the numbers we have. Maybe June and Damon know a way to put one of them down swiftly, but if we have to worry about protecting everyone else, it will be an impossible task. Okay. I think you underestimate us, buddy. Do as he says. You see one of these things and you get the hell out of there. Our objective is to place the explosives and bring the place down. Anyone who wants to go and be a hero can save it for another day. We all agree, and I trace a hand over my blaster, hoping I won't have to use it today. Ayame, how are we looking? Good to go, just as soon as Red here is ready to get us through some serious security. Okay. Calderon waves a hand towards the co-pilot seat and looks at Vex. Chair is all yours. Don't screw us over or it will be lights out for you before your feet even hit the ground. Vex huffs a laugh as he heads for Cal's usual seat and drops down into it, spinning the chair around. You threaten everyone like that, big guy? Oh my god, and Calderon's face is so comical. So, most of the time he's worse. If anything, I would say he was being nice. Enough already, Damon. Stay up there with the two of them and keep an eye on things. The rest of you follow me to the cargo hold and we'll strap in down there. What about me? You should stay here, take the chair there and keep quiet. Personally, I would prefer you stayed in the docks, but it'd be a lot easier for a ship this size to blend in if there's a 4-man crew on the bridge. Your face isn't plastered on any wanted posters like the rest of us. You mean Damon's isn't? Damon's in better graces with Zobak than most of us, yeah, because he kind of worked for him. So, but enough chit-chat, we're about to breach the security perimeter. Stay safe, stowaway. And I think I'm gonna end this episode here, but definitely this episode was very interesting, and next episode we're going to go down to Orion actually and see what happens there. Wonder if we're gonna meet the VTBs, I wonder if we're going to manage to complete our mission or if something goes awry. But definitely a very nice episode. I really love this game. I cannot say enough good things about it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe and leave a like. I would really appreciate that. And I will see you in the next one. Bye bye!